So to have an artist like Taylor hand out bonuses is exceptional. Exceptional. I don't care what the value is. I don't want to talk about any of that. Like, I'm not talking about a monetary value. I'm just talking about the act itself. So to have somebody of such high stature actually put value on their people to that extent is incredible.
This is a Taylor Swift news alert you don't want to miss. Check out everything that happened recently in this video.
So, Eras Tour Doc Thoughts Part 2. So let's talk about the bonus, but not in the way you think I want to talk about the bonus. Let's talk about how dancers in particular, I'm going to talk about dancers because obviously I have two of them. I see a lot of the castings. I discuss things with the boys. So generally speaking, a dancer is hired on a contract. Now, the rates generally come with the audition notice. It's usually the audition notice is usually broken down to this is the date for the audition, date and time, and then these are the working dates, and these are the rates. And obviously, you don't go to the audition if you're not available for the work dates, starters. You also sometimes don't go to the audition because you see the rate and you go, you got to be kidding, I'm not working for that. So the rates are generally, there's a rehearsal day rate, and then there's a show day rate sometimes, and then sometimes there's a weekly rate. So if they start if they start a rehearsal, let's say midweek, they'll give you the daily rate for, let's say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If it's more than that, then they generally switch to the weekly rate. Now, the weekly rate can include the shows. So hypothetically, you could have multiple shows in the same week and your rate doesn't change. Whether you do one show, 3 shows, 4 shows, generally that's the way that it works. Once you're on your weekly rate, you don't get any more money if you do more shows. So what you'll see in some of the tours, we've looked at castings for some of these tours, and it's literally like 5 shows a week, but the rate doesn't change. You get the weekly rate, whether you doesn't matter how many shows. So sometimes the camps try and jam the shows really close together. A lot of the tours are bus tours, which means literally you do a show, you get to shower in the stadium, arena, whatever, at the venue. They shower, they change. They literally get on a bus. They hop in their little tiny, they call them coffins because they're literally that big. That's their sleeping bunk. They get on the bus, they hop into their little bunkie and sleep through the night to arrive in the next city the next day and then do another show that night. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. The toll on the body. Anyways. So where I'm going with this is everything is a contract. So when you agree to the job, you sign a contract, you say, yes, I'm available for this date. Yes, I'm willing to work for this rate. And then once you sign the contract, that's it. Like, a bonus is, I'm not going to say it's unheard of. I'm just going to say it is rare. For an artist to look at the tour and go, wow, this tour is grossing a lot more than I expected, I should share this with my fellow performers, is rare. And I don't think people appreciate how rare this really is in the industry. There's a group in California called the Dancers Alliance, and what they are trying to do is establish base rates for dancers doing work. Now, when you're doing a union job, hypothetically, like a SAG-AFTRA job, there are rules, right? You work this much, you get paid this much. overtime, you get this much, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all laid out, and it's very strict. So they have no choice but to pay those rates. And dancers love them, right? Because they're really good, fair rates. But movies and stuff like that are generally like, if you're on a tour and they're going to do a tour doc or any kind of movie related to the tour, it's usually spelled out at the beginning in the contract. If the camp chooses to do a movie, a film of any kind, the buyout for that is stated in the contract. It's X amount of money, and that is it. That's all you get. They use the word in perpetuity. So you're signing away your right, your appearance, your likeness, everything goes to the camp for X amount of money. Again, these things don't change. When you agree to the rate, the days of work, we've even had instances where the rate and the contract were established in 1 year, and then technically, according to DA rates, as you transition into a new year, those rates raise. It's not like crazy amounts, but it's like cost of living, inflation-y kind of rates, and they increase into the new year. We've had camps where they literally say, no, you signed the contract last year. This is an extension of the contract, so you're not getting any more money. So to have an artist like Taylor hand out bonuses is exceptional. Exceptional. I don't care what the value is. I don't want to talk about any of that. Like, I'm not talking about a monetary value. I'm just talking about the act itself. It doesn't happen very often. In general, like I've seen camps that don't even want to pay for dinner. You're stuck in the stadium that day. Literally, a lot of people don't realize dancers are sequestered in the venue the day of. They have a call time. They get brought to the arena, stadium, whatever. They're there all day. They can't leave. And I've heard of camps where they don't even want to pay for food. Anyways, I'm just telling you, like, the Taylor side of things. You know, everybody says there's no ethical billionaires and whatever, but the reality is the way she treats her people is exceptional. And she's showing value to people who generally do not feel valued in their fields. Like, honestly, dancers don't feel valued in their field for the most part. Dancers feel replaceable. Dancers feel like a necessity. Dancers feel like their loyalty is expected, but it is not reciprocal. So to have somebody of such high stature actually put value on their people to that extent is incredible. And I'm tired of hearing everybody belly aching about it. It is exceptional. It is the way it should be, but it is not the way it is. And I hope, as many other things in Taylor's life, she is leading by example, because it's truly incredible.
So I really appreciate the father of Eras Tour dancer Kevin giving us a deeper perspective as to why Taylor's bonus was such a big deal. Because I had no idea that dancers went through so much. And so thank you, Taylor, for setting such a fantastic example on how people in that space should be treated and valued. And speaking of the tour, if you missed some of its most craziest moments with Taylor, check out this next video.